So I don't know about you, but Luka Doncic is not Zion Williamson, and I have no idea why the Dallas Mavericks brass decided to treat Luka like Zion Williamson. Welcome to the NBA Rundown. As always, I'm Dave DeBaugh, and on tonight's podcast, we are going to talk about Luka Doncic and what most certainly will be his revenge tour. But before we get into the revenge portion of all of this, I ask you this question. What exactly does Luka Doncic need to change? I mean, look, let's face it. He's got the kind of body that he's probably always going to have. He's probably always going to struggle a little bit with the weight. At the end of the day, Luka playing with LeBron is one thing. Sure, LeBron can teach him how to eat healthy and how to show up to practice before anybody else. But when Luka looks at all of the things he's been told by the Dallas Mavericks organization over the past couple years, I mean, they brought in a ton of specialists to actually help him out. Luka must have been sitting there thinking, for God's sakes, I am the third best player in the not just the NBA, but the third best player in the world. What exactly is it that I need to change, which would have made the Dallas Mavericks actually happy to give him that $345 million max contract? If you listen to the tea leaves, apparently just simply did not want to invest $345 million in the third best player in the world. Now, maybe the new owners of the Dallas Mavericks shouldn't be in the business of basketball if that's how they're actually going to look at the third best player in the world. Sure, Luka could could go on a little bit of a diet, could maybe show up to practice a little bit earlier. But seriously, Luka took this team all the way to the NBA Finals last year. And by the way, was absolutely spectacular in doing it. All right, so listen, if you are new to the NBA Rundown, thanks so much for tuning in. Please go ahead and subscribe. If you like the video, then like the video. Wanted to spend a little bit of time tonight talking about Luka's comeback, if you can call it that. I mean, he hasn't played since since Christmas. He'll actually do a 5-on-5 workout with the Los Angeles Lakers tomorrow. Assuming that all goes well, we can expect Luka to suit him up against the Indiana Pacers at home at the Crypto.com arena. Never get used to that. Luka will play on Saturday night. Now, I'm sure the good folks over at ABC who have the prime time game would love to flex out of what they currently have scheduled, which is, of course, the Boston Celtics at the New York Knicks at Madison Square Garden, which, of course, is going to be a hell of a basketball game. And yes, everybody wants to see that. Maybe ABC or ESPN will be able to add another game to their roster so they can televise this particular game nationally. Look, Luka didn't need any more motivation to be a great player in the National Basketball Association. Well, he now has significantly more motivation to actually take the league by storm. Now, it's a question of whether or not his body can stay healthy enough. Yeah, there's all sorts of people, as I mentioned earlier, who are talking about the things Luka needs to do, the changes Luka needs to make. Look, Luka is probably sitting there, as I mentioned, thinking, well, I'm the third best player in the world. What is it exactly that I need to change? Look, don't forget the run and just how unbelievably spectacular Luka Doncic actually was in the playoffs last season. Sure, as I mentioned, he could certainly afford to lose a couple pounds here and there, And yes, maybe the diet changes and maybe a little bit more practice could certainly help him out. But at the end of the day, what will really set the world on fire is if Luka, LeBron, and whatever other players they are able to hobble together in the next 48 hours before the NBA trading deadline ends. Then, if that team is somehow able to go on a deep run in the Western Conference playoffs, I have to tell you, there is going to be a lot of people and a lot of egg on the face, not just of Nico Harrison, but of the rest of the management team of the Dallas Mavericks. All right, I'd love to get your opinions on this topic. Please go ahead and drop them in when you have a chance. Earlier tonight, the Philadelphia 76ers hosted the Dallas Mavericks. It's a game in which the Dallas Mavericks played really well. Joel Embiid actually played in the game. Dallas ended up losing by 2. Max Christie actually ended up playing in the game, and Max actually finished the night with 15 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 assists in the game. He played really well, fit in perfectly with the Dallas Mavericks organization. And remember, if you watched the video I did on Anthony Davis earlier in the day, this isn't about Anthony Davis and Max Christie not being a good fit for the Dallas Mavericks. This is just simply a question of why didn't Nico Harrison actually get more for Luka, and how much of this stuff do they really believe after watching Luka Doncic go all the way to the NBA Finals last year? Did they? Because the only way I can even come to any kind of serious conclusion here is simply to say that the new owners are being cheap, and they simply didn't want to pay the $345 million and have floated all these other minor excuses as major excuses to pull some light off of their cheapness. That is all I can come up with. All right, for the NBA Rundown, I'm Dave DeBaugh, wishing you all a tremendous rest of your sports viewing day.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this,